If only I knew now what I knew then. Have you ever said that? Of course you have. But as an Amazon seller, it's not something you want to say when it comes to your Amazon business. So let's take a look at some of the most expensive mistakes beginning sellers make, and more importantly, how to avoid them. Amazon accounted for over 40% of the US e-commerce sales last year. So it's definitely still a viable business model. While it's still a great business opportunity, it is not a place where you want to just grab products willy-nilly, throw them up on the platform and expect to become an overnight millionaire. Sellers who jump in blind are putting themselves at risk to lose a lot of money in their investment, and that is not what you want to do as a seller on Amazon. But don't worry, if you avoid these expensive errors, you can have a solid business that is successful and profitable. So let's take a look at some of the most expensive mistakes that beginning sellers make on Amazon, and more importantly, how you can avoid them. The first mistake many sellers make is poor product selection. There is a lot of competition on Amazon. More and more sellers are joining every day, but that doesn't mean that you can't still win. You just need to put a little bit of thought into making your product selection. Commodity products are out. You can't just grab something and put it up that everyone else is selling. If you've got 10 or 20 sellers on Amazon, you're going to be competing on price, and that is a race to the bottom, and that is not where you want to be for your Amazon business. So how to avoid this mistake? Very simple. Make good product selections. You need to make sure that your product is differentiated and it is going to mean something to your customer. You want to find a product that is going to really solve a pain point or be a real source of joy and potentially connected to a passion of your customer avatar. You need to start with your customer first and know them inside and out and know what matters to them so you can help them. Conducting good product research is key, and software like ZonGuru is fantastic for that. You really need to dive in and understand your niche and your competition so you can make the best product selection and win on page one. Hand in hand with your product selection is mistake number 2, avoiding listing optimization. You must optimize your listing to make the sale. Your listing needs to communicate to your customer effectively. You can't just put poorly done photographs that you do on your kitchen bench and put them up on Amazon. You can't just stuff your title full of keywords, and you can't put sloppily written bullet points up and expect a customer to trust you and make the purchase. So listing optimization is vitally important. How do you optimize your listing? Well, I've got a guide that the link is below in the description that will help you out, but some basic points. Make sure you're getting really good photographs. Make sure that they're crisp and clear and that you're really using up the full size that Amazon allows you to, a minimum of 2000 by 2000 pixels. Make sure you've got good lifestyle images and that your photos have infographics as well. So you're communicating the benefits of the product to your customer. Great photos go such a long way. I've said it before, Amazon is like the dating app of shopping, so you need to make sure that these photos are winners. Beyond that, you need to make sure that you have a really well-written title. Your title is the first thing that people are going to see after the photograph on the listing results page. So you want to make sure that it's going to resonate with your customer and not just be stuffed full of keywords. You want to craft it well and make sure that it is including the most important keywords, but that it reads to the customer. So something like ZonGuru's listing optimization tool is brilliant for that. And now with the inclusion of the AI ChatGPT into the listing optimization tool on ZonGuru, you can create a beautifully written title that includes all of the most important keywords. Beyond that, you can also use this tool to write great descriptions and bullet points for your listing. Now, if you have brand registry, it's really important that you make sure that you're taking the most opportunity in using all the components of your A+ content, not just the A+ content that replaces the description in your listing, but including that brand story. That's a new feature, and it is so powerful to really give a chance to communicate and make that connection to your customer. And that's what your listing is trying to do. You're trying to make that connection. This flows right into mistake number 3. Not building a brand. The time of commodity products with no customer experience is gone. Now you need to make sure that you are making that relationship with your customer and building that brand experience. You need to make sure that this brand experience is consistent across all of your marketing channels, not just your photographs and your infographics and your A+ content and your brand story, but your website, your social media pages, any outside ads that you're running. They all need to be consistent. I've said it before, the confused mind says no. So make sure that your brand identity is being communicated across all of these channels. Creating this brand identity that really gets through to your customer is going to increase your sales. It's going to boost your perceived value, and therefore it gives you the potential to position yourself as a premium product. Mistake 4 is cash flow. Cash is definitely king, and underestimating the capital investment needed to be really successful with your Amazon business can be detrimental. One of the most important rules as an Amazon seller is staying in stock. So you need to understand the product sales velocity of your product and how much inventory you're going to need so you can stay in stock. You need to stay in stock for the first few months to give enough time to place your second order and get it there. So it's a timing thing. It's a logistical nightmare if you're not really prepared and don't fully understand it. But if you dive in and you use tools like ZonGuru's Chrome extension and you see the sales velocity of the top sellers in that niche, then you know how much inventory you're going to need to purchase. And the launch budget on the Chrome extension from ZonGuru also will help you plan, because it is telling you how much of an investment you're going to need to stay in stock for 3 months, which is where you probably want to start. The strategy of just launching with a few, 100 or so units is not really very wise, because like I said, running out of stock is one of the biggest sins an Amazon seller can make. In addition to understanding the velocity for your product, you need to make sure that you're incorporating all of the costs in your cost of goods calculations. You need to make sure that you're factoring in the transportation costs to get the products from your factory to the fulfillment center. And that's all the way to the fulfillment center. If you're ordering a large container load or several thousand units, you need to make sure that you're going to be able to store that somewhere and get it to Amazon. You don't want to put all of that into Amazon at one time. Number one, they're not a warehouse. They are a fulfillment center. So you don't want to overstock at Amazon and be forced to remove units that aren't moving. You also need to know your duties and tariffs before you place an order. I've spoken with sellers who have planned everything out and they know what their profit margin is, and then they're surprised when they find out what the duties and tariffs actually are. So make sure you know that and calculate that in before you place your order. And then you need to plan for the unexpected. Things are going to happen that you didn't plan for, so you need to be prepared and have a little bit of extra cash involved for that. And you need to make sure that you're planning your marketing, your PPC budget. You're going to need to be generating all of these costs before you get any payments from Amazon. And speaking of launching, PPC strategies is our next mistake. When you launch a PPC campaign, you need to make sure that you're doing it with a good strategy in place. You don't just throw up an auto campaign and hope for the best. You also want to make sure that when you're launching that you're doing it compliantly and that you're not giving away products to customers in exchange for reviews and giving them rebates. That is against Amazon's terms of service, and that can get you shut down very quickly. So how to solve your PPC problem and avoid this mistake? Very simple. Create strategic ad campaigns when you launch your products on Amazon. When you launch your product, Amazon doesn't know what it is. You could be selling a garden rake, but it might think that it's a shovel if you don't tell it what it is. So creating exact match campaigns that have the keywords in it that are hyper relevant and exactly what your product is will help teach the algorithm where to show your product in the search results. When you launch, you want to make sure that you're launching compliantly. Enroll in the Vine program. That is a way to get products into the hands for reviews that is within the Amazon terms of service because it's their own program. Make sure that you're driving compliant traffic to your listing and you're not using any dodgy links. I recommend using the brand referral bonus. You can get 10% back from anyone who makes a purchase of your products when you've used your brand referral link on your outside traffic. And that's a great boost to your profit margin. Beyond that, then you just want to monitor your PPC campaigns. Once you've taught the Amazon algorithm what your product is, then you can look at launching an auto campaign and broaden phrase to start generating some new keywords that maybe you hadn't thought of. But start with the exact match. The next mistake involves logistics and fulfillment. I touched on it a little bit when I talked about knowing your duties and tariffs, but there's a lot more that goes into logistics and your fulfillment decisions. There is a lot to understand when it comes to logistics, and I have 2 great videos that I'll put links in the description so you can make sure you check those out and you get a better understanding of what the whole logistics picture can look like and how to make some great decisions for that. A big mistake I personally think that a lot of people make is trying to fulfill their products themselves. I think it is a recipe for disaster. It is going to cost you more time and money potentially to try and fulfill your products yourself. Take advantage of the resource of Amazon and use FBA. They have a structure and an infrastructure in place that cannot be rivaled, and take advantage of that and save yourself a lot of those headaches and a lot of that time and money. Another big thing that I see people doing that can cost them a lot of money in this area is using 3PLs in the United States. Now, one of the videos that I'm linking is my podcast episode with Jamie Peros of SKUdrop, and they have completely disrupted the entire logistics field. You can now take advantage of their system of just-in-time shipping and shipping in small shipments of your products to the Amazon fulfillment centers from a 3PL in China that is vastly more cost-effective than a 3PL in the United States. Not only will this just-in-time shipping help you with your inventory performance index on Amazon, but it will also help you with your cash flow management. It costs so much less to send in small shipments than one big, huge shipment that has all of your money tied up in the shipping and the storage. So check out the link below to the podcast with Jamie and learn about SKUdrop and this amazing solution. The next mistake is a big one: lack of knowledge. This is not a hard business, but it is a complex business, and there's a lot to know, and you need to stay up to date on the changes that are going on from Amazon and in the entire e-commerce space. Things are not the way they were 5 years ago for sure. So not understanding Amazon's rules can get you into a lot of trouble and have your listing or your entire account shut down. Not being prepared and understanding the many facets of an Amazon business can be very costly. So to overcome this, there are so many resources at your disposal. You don't even have to sign up for a course, although I do recommend signing up for a course to get a vast amount of knowledge in a condensed amount of time. But you don't have to. There are plenty of free resources. Just make sure that you're going to resources that are reliable. Make sure if you're talking to another Amazon seller like myself, they actually are Amazon sellers and they really are doing it now. There are a lot of so-called gurus out there that don't really sell anymore and their knowledge is outdated, and that can cost you a lot of money if you follow their old strategies that are not going to work anymore. On top of this, Amazon itself has a lot of resources available in their Seller University, so you can stay up to date on all of their fees, their regulations, their requirements, and all of their terms of service. The most important thing is to keep learning. I'm an experienced seller, but I'm still learning things every day. It never stops. The phrase knowledge is power really is true when it comes to the Amazon space. Amazon is not a get-rich-quick solution. It is a real business, and it requires you to be prepared. If you choose your products wisely and continue to learn along your Amazon journey, you will set yourself up for a stable, successful, and profitable Amazon business. I hope this has helped you learn some of the mistakes to avoid and ways to avoid them as a beginning Amazon seller. Please hit the like button if it has, and comment in below and let me know what may have surprised you and what you've learned from today's video. I've put the link to my listing optimization guide and the other videos that I mentioned so you can continue increasing your knowledge and avoid these expensive mistakes. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell, and that way you get notified of future videos like these on PPC mistakes and logistics.